Hey guys, welcome to game number 4. This is IEM Cologne 8. It's a rebroadcast, Zerg vs Protoss between two amazing players. I'm so excited to present to you in the top side of Heavy Rain, the blue Protoss, representing Team Liquid. It's none other than Hero. And here on the bottom right-hand side, representing Evil Geniuses in the red trunks, playing the race of Zerg. It's Evil Geniuses, JaeDong. My co-caster tonight is Carson Tyrannus Wood. Our streamer observer is none other than Drew Universe. Big shout outs to both of those guys. Tyrannus, how are you tonight?
Great. How are you, Chef?
I'm doing amazing, man. So what do you think of this Zerg vs Protoss? Currently, JaeDong is down one game. It's game point for LiquidHerO. What is going on in JaeDong's mind? How does he progress?
At this point, he should know that this is basically an elimination match for him. If he loses, he's out of this series. So he needs to be playing as safe as possible and just try and get the win under his belt to take it to Game 5.
Gotcha, bro. All right. So JaeDong opening hatch first. Pretty normal on this. LiquidHerO being a Protoss, it being Heavy Rain. I feel like Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, Blink Stalkers are actually very strong on this map. Recently, there's been a sort of increase in players doing that Blink Stalker sentry push out off of a fast third base. So we might be able to see that this game. It could also be something along the lines of the standard Stargate into Robo Colossus death ball type play.
Gotcha. This is a really narrow map. How does the map work to JaeDong's advantage and or disadvantage?
This is actually a very tough map to go swarm host on because it is so easy to go down either side, and it's also so choky, so force fields work really well on this map. Like if Hero were to do something like a Sentry Immortal Leyland down here, then it would be really easy to force field and keep JaeDong out, and JaeDong would almost have to forfeit his third base for free.
Right, and he did go 2 hatch before pool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It does look like that actually, which is actually really surprising to me considering the situation he's in. But
yeah, especially versus Gateway first.
Yeah, he probably understands Hero really, really well, so he feels safe doing this. But it's not something that I would do in a situation like this.
Well, okay,
but that's why I'm not JaeDong.
Mind games within mind games within mind games.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. All right, well, we do have a light Zealot pressure. I think the Queens will spawn in time to deal with this, but LiquidHerO is going to be forced to apply aggression here.
Yeah, he's actually putting down 2 gateways, which does signal to me that he's looking to be extremely aggressive, if not just try and do some sort of gateway all in. We'll have to see if he decides to go into an actual Stargate out of this, or if he decides to do some sort of 7-gate, or what the plan is.
Well, we have a crouching probe. It looks like he's going to lay down a hidden pylon. The Lings almost intercepted that. How important are these Lings when you do a 2-hatch before pull? By the way, Mothership Core in the in the main of JaeDong.
They're extremely important for shutting down pylons and just making sure that nothing like this can happen. He needs to be extremely active with these Lings like he was this game and on Frost to make sure that none of these pylons can go down and that he's not being threatened in any sort of way, and he can just drone up as much as he would like.
Gotcha. Well, 3 Zealots are warped into the natural of LiquidHerO. Looks like the Overlord being hunted there as well. Roach Warren is on the way. This game getting very aggressive very quickly here. Is JaeDong going to be able to hold this pressure?
He does have the Spine Crawler up, and he does have the Roach Warren on the way, and he's also doing an extremely good job of denying these pylons, so which is making Hero's push really, really late. So he should be fine as long as he can get enough roaches out to defend these Zealots.
Gotcha. And pylon getting a little bit closer. Hero managing to finish that one. The rocks trying to be knocked down. JaeDong not going to get those in time. Looks like this Mothership Core taking a little bit of damage from the Queens, but good time warp on the Lings. It's going to make the Zealots a lot more effective versus them. And looks like the Zealots.
Yeah, that was a nice time.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that was a very nice time work because his zealots did get trapped there, which would have been pretty disastrous for this kind of push if he were not to have those zealots with this, because that would cut down his numbers a lot and he might not even be able to break this.
This mothership core moving a little bit too forward, taking some extra shots from the queen, almost losing the mothership core. That's going to force the zealots back from the roaches, and it looks like JaeDong has held it.
Yeah, those roaches came out in the nick of time. They really saved the day here, and JaeDong had some really nice micro to keep those queens alive during
Honestly,
the battle.
I felt like that was a mistake from HerO. If the mothership core hadn't been forced backwards, the roaches wouldn't have been as effective.
Yeah, I feel like, and I also feel like if he had another time warp, he could have done a lot more there as well, allowing the zealots to get on top of those roaches more.
Yep. Well, he's getting close to 100 energy. He will have another time warp, but he's trying to knock the rocks down for JaeDong at this point.
Yeah, he might be worried about some sort of counterattack, and he's actually probably looking to take his own third base.
Great
so
force
he
fields
just
there.
wants to minimize.
Moving in on the roaches.
Yeah, he's actually trading really well.
Yeah, very good.
He's trading as well as he could here with this 4-gate pressure, and he's gonna go home and try and tech out of this with a robo.
Well, he's getting a warp prism, so he may not actually be teching out of this. He may be continuing the onslaught.
Yeah, but he's also banking up enough for another hatch or another nexus, and his probe is actually in position for that as well. So the warp prism is a peculiar option, but he may be just trying to get back in the game harassment wise.
Okay. All right. Well, Overseer is being spawned here. He obviously sees the robo. Where does JaeDong go from here?
JaeDong, while holding off that push, would like to drone to as many as he needs for a 3-base saturation, which it looks like he already has at 67 drones. He's probably going to go into a Hydra into Spire, if I know JaeDong's style well enough. But right now, it's looking like he's just getting his roach speed, he's getting his upgrades, and he wants to do some sort of roach pressure to deny this third.
Well, he did manage to supply block HerO. That is going to hurt the pylon, only going down now. The third base, of course, is following, but Overseer going to scout that as well. Does JaeDong take a fourth base, or does he try to pressure HerO here?
It looks like he's actually trying to tech really hard, so my personal opinion would be that he needs to expand in order to make that tech worthwhile, because if you attack and tech, then you're going to be economically far behind, and if your attack does not work out, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Well, HerO did manage to pick off a queen with nothing but sentries. This warp prism definitely paying off here for him.
Yeah, this turned out to be a really nice decision, being able to force JaeDong back and sort of get him back, do the damage he needed to do earlier.
Well, these no force fields, just the two there to block off, allowing, of course, HerO to escape.
What's really interesting here is that JaeDong is deciding to go for swarm hosts on this map of all maps, which is sort of peculiar to me because of what I was talking about earlier with the immobility and the easy and how easy it is to get caught out of position.
Right.
So we'll see how easy.
Well, we've got 2 Stargates in production, so I'm wondering if mutas are going to come onto the field. If they do complement swarm hosts very well. They can be more of your offensive harassment type, while the swarm hosts, of course, are holding the position, defending your bases, that sort of maneuvering. However, with Stargates already in production, Phoenix is already in production, and Blink, actually, mutas are not a very viable option.
Yeah, if he's planning to go for the static D swarm host turtle style, he'll actually need corruptors, and mutalist swarm host, while it is viable, it will not be good in this situation because, as you said, the Phoenix, the Blink, it would be much better off just turtling and trying to do as much damage he can with his ground forces.
And we do have a hive on the way now, about the same time as the Robo Bay, as well as another Robo facility. So we will be seeing, behind this pressure from HerO, a Colossi tech switch. JaeDong already with the Spire, going to be completely ready for it. Swarm hosts, not the best against Colossi, but when you can factor in Corruptors, you've already preempted that. Very, very, very powerful combo.
Yeah, this push from HerO actually surprises me a lot, because he saw the Infestation Pit, he saw the Spire, he should be well aware of what JaeDong is trying to do, and he might be just trying to hit a timing where JaeDong's swarm hosts are not out and are not ready, but he shouldn't be able to do any damage here if JaeDong defends properly.
And great Roach counterattack going down at the third of Hero, while Hero is pressuring the main. That is going to force a recall to the third base, forcing those Roaches back and doing a lot of damage here in the main. He may manage to get the spawning pool. He's doing another Warp End, 4 Zealots going, but these Roaches are getting force fielded out here as well. Hero playing this very, very well.
Yeah, Hero actually did not overcommit at all with his army while doing damage in the main. So that was a big, big win for Hero, getting that spawning pool and forcing JaeDong's army back like this, while JaeDong was able to get rid of Hero's army at his front door. So sort of a win for both sides, but I think Hero came out on top of that little engagement.
Now, JaeDong has added Vipers to his composition. How is this going to work out for him?
He's going to be looking to pick off key units like the Immortals in this case, but typically it would be going for the Colossus and the Void Rays. But Hero has a distinct lack of Colossus in his army, with the total being at 0 right now. So
right, 5 force fields were baited out there on nothing but swarm hosts, so that was a big win by JaeDong. That energy is you can't put a price on Century energy at this stage of the game.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we've got the Templar Archive completing up now. Charge lots. We've got extended thermal lance. We've got a +3 upgrade coming for Hero. Hero definitely in the lead as far as upgrades are concerned at this point. But we've got adrenal glands on the way. We've got a second evolution chamber finishing up now, getting the 1/1 upgrades for melee. What is going to be JaeDong's tech choice? Is he going for the Greater Spire? Is he going for Ultralisk Cavern? Like,
he should not be thinking about going Ultralisk at this point, with there being 4 Immortals on the field and Blinkstalker tech. So if I were JaeDong, I would be thinking about going the ultimate for unit style, Broodlord, Swarm Host, Viper, you know, just slowly pick away at your Protoss opponent until you win the Battle of Starvation.
Right. Okay, so still stuck on 3-base Protoss. JaeDong got his 4th base. We've got a nice Warp Prism attack going on here with Zealots, Sentries. Roaches doing a good job. The force field's actually working against Hero a little bit, but that is going to be the end of that harassment. Yet we've still got Swarm Host harassment going across the map, yet Hero coming in from the side here, going to be attacking onto the creep. Is he just clearing out creep, or is this a committed assault?
I think he's going to poke in, see how much damage he can do, and then recall if it gets too dangerous. But at this
Vipers,
point,
recall is going to be very hard.
Yeah, he needs to keep his Mothership Core extremely safe and just keep his army in a good position. But it looks like he's actually just content with killing creep and trying to secure his fort.
Right. Okay, so both these players getting close to that 200-200 max. JaeDong banking a lot. Is he going to hit a tech switch?
JaeDong, I think he's actually just going to be content with the Static D Swarm Host Corruptor Viper, because that's such a good style, and you can't really tech switch in a situation like this when you allow your Protoss opponent to get 4 bases and have 3 Stargates. I think it is 3 Stargates? 2 Stargates. Because they'll be able to go into Phoenix extremely easily.
That Warp Prism being reproduced, it was killed down in the main. I don't know if we caught that, but it did have to be reproduced. That is going to cut into the Colossi count just a little bit. And Hero still playing a very strong game. He's got that death ball we were talking about earlier on. JaeDong, he's got this huge bank. I don't understand. Why is he not attacking, engaging, trying to spend some of these resources? Because the sooner you can start chipping away at the death ball, the better it is as a Zerg player.
Yeah, I would agree that his mineral rank is extremely large, especially for the lack of technology that he has at this point. But he wants to keep that gas bank high for any sort of remax after an engagement. He wants to be able to go bam straight into Needless, or like bam straight into 50 Roaches, and be able to just crush his Protoss opponent if he ends up losing too much in a fight. That's sort of the benefit of this style, is that you can trade with free units and not spend a dime while you force your Protoss opponent to like spend all the money.
Well, he did force a recall with a roach counterattack, but we've still got a Blink Stalker segment of his army down here in the main at this stage. Swarmhost not going to be able to defend that quite as well as he would have liked. The Swarmhost really the big defensive unit. He's had to reposition them. Swarmhost, of course, gonna start picking off some of these Immortals, but he's also swinging in here to the fourth base with the other segment of his army. Let's see, does he blink the rest of these Stalkers down to save them? No, he's actually going to lose all but 3 of those Stalkers.
Yeah, that was a really nice idea by Hero, and it probably would have worked way better against a lesser player, but JaeDong just being way too ready for it. He was in position, and Hero got almost nothing for the amount of money he put into that.
Yeah, and the second Spire is on the way at this point, so he is going to be committing further to upgrades. Going to probably see some armor upgrades for the flying units here shortly. And Pathogen Gland's going to be coming out, Infestation Pit. He is now spending that bank we were talking about and just getting basically every tech in the book so that he can do all kinds of compositions, constantly tech switch in the late game.
Yeah, and it also looks like JaeDong's just content on staying on 3-base mining, 3-base saturation as much as possible, just like leapfrogging bases until he gets closer and closer to Hero's base to finally put an end to him. But it looks like this game could go on for a little bit longer with the way that things are shaping up.
Yeah, this map can definitely reach a stalemate point until all the map is basically mined out. Ooh, good pull there. The abduct from those Vipers, pulling everything right into the Corruptors. You see this a lot on the European servers, but it's great seeing this coming from JaeDong.
Yeah, that was a really nice pull. He's doing a really good job of clearing out these Warp Prisms that have been just bugging him all game long, because Hero's been extremely active with them, like a good Protoss player should be.
Well, we've got a full-out Mothership coming. This is not something you see too often. Until these late game scenarios, especially when you got High Templar and Archons and stuff mixed in. Are we going to see full out Mothership play? Like, how does JaeDong go from here? The Broodlord Infestor combo not quite as effective as it used to be.
Yeah, the Mothership core, or the Mothership is actually just purely for the cloaking ability so that they do not lose, so that the Protoss does not lose as many units to Locust waves as they would be. Because with that, you can't bring an Overseer with it or else it'll die, and like basically what it does is negate the Locust effect until you actually attack into them.
Okay, well, this game, full out aggression. There's so much going on all over the map. The Warp Prism retreating from that fourth base. We've got LiquidHerO really content to engage in this bottom left corner. I actually saw some stats on Team Liquid the other day talking about where engagements happen, and they said on almost all maps in both IEM and the CC Cup, most of the time the action happened in the bottom left, and LiquidHerO proving that true yet again.
Oh really? That's really interesting. Is it only on this map or on most maps?
No, most maps. They even went so far as to make a joke about not wanting to spawn bottom left in Frost LE anymore. Yeah. It was really interesting, but they used like those heatsink graphs to show where all the action happened. It was really interesting. I'll link you to it, and I'll try to remember to throw it into the description box.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely.
Well, go ahead and tell us about what's going on here in this game.
Well, Hero's actually just trying to push into the fourth and do as much damage as possible, considering the lack of static D. He's also trying to abuse this little position, this little ledge right here, to try and get into the main and snipe off some really important tech for JaeDong. But JaeDong continuing to be extremely resilient, is keeping Hero at bay as much as possible.
Well, it looks like he may pick off this Greater Spire. Oh, not quite. Oh, that was really close. But the third base, pretty much mining out. LiquidHerO wants to kill it off, it seems, but there's not too much left here.
Yeah, what's really peculiar to me is why JaeDong has such a large mineral bank at 5,500 with only 10 spines and 5 spores. Like, he could have so many more spores and spines. He won't be able to spend all that with a larva bank that he has for Remax, so there's no reason not to get rid of some of those drones we make now. Yeah, that's definitely a concern here. And it would really help him, because he's getting pulled apart in so many directions. That static defense would buy him a lot more time. Yeah, definitely. What Hero's been really good about though is pushing the streak back on the left-hand side to kind
Mhm.
of take control of this portion of the map, so that he is able to keep Static D from being there, keep the Swarm host from like getting a good position on his fourth.
Right. Well, we've got Infestor Corruptor swinging up here to this 5th base for JaeDong. The Swarm hosts are there as well, so it looks like he's going to start his slow siege of the 3rd base of Hero. But Hero's also managed to establish a 4th, and things are looking a little bit rough here for JaeDong.
Yeah, JaeDong's starting to get mined out a lot, which is surprising to me considering Hero's not as much. But Hero has the control of his complete left-hand side. He's able to.
Wow! Did you see the abduct on that mothership? Pulled it right into the Corruptors. Oh my god. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, that was a really nice abduct, and it was really important because now these Locust Waves will actually be able to do something. But yeah, JaeDong's starting to get mined out. He did secure this nice fresh base over here, so he can start transferring drones down there. But Hero needs to think about securing another base soon, or else he'll start to run dry as well.
Right, these Swarm hosts, of course, free units. So it's, even though JaeDong is mining out, he has got a non-stop production wave in free units. And the Roaches are trying to deal with the Archons. The Archons trying to take out the spawning pool. The Blink Stalkers could swing in there and finish it, but he is currently not micro them. It looks like he's pulling them back to go ahead and blink down the ledge and is not going to manage to get that spawning pool. As you mentioned earlier, static defense is really what JaeDong needs, so hitting that spawning pool would be a crucial part of Hero's strategy.
Yeah, definitely. What's really awesome here is that Heroes actually started to add in Tempest, which are not only good for sieging the static D, but if JaeDong were to think about going for Broodlords at all, then they will be extremely good against those, considering they do bonus damage. So Hero's got the really nice composition to deal with this. As long as he keeps up his harassment, I see no reason why he cannot come out of this game victorious.
He has also just added 2 Oracles to his composition. Revelation is essentially free map packs for the Protoss that you cannot get banned for. So he's also going to be able to see any repositioning of the Swarm host or the rest of JaeDong's army as well.
Yeah, those revelations will allow him to keep up with his harassment and use his Warp Prism where it'll be most effective, where his army is not.
Right. And good counterattacks here by JaeDong. You don't really see Roaches at this stage in the game, but he is employing them. Just swinging around here, taking out a lot of the photon cannons. And while, it looks like the cannons will ultimately hold, especially on the back of this warp in, the fact remains that the Roaches are forcing warp ins in places that Hero doesn't really want to warp in. And Hero, unlike JaeDong, is not sitting at 5,000 minerals and 4,500 gas.
Yeah, exactly. These Roach run-bys are doing wonders because they're able to keep Hero spending his money on things like photon cannons and warp-ins, and they're also able to deny bases and kill off probes.
Not to mention it allows JaeDong to deplete some of this bank that has been an issue almost this entire game.
Yeah, it's now he's starting to look towards more Aspire tech, so I think what JaeDong's plan at this portion of the game is to take a pretty decent fight and then immediately remax and crush the Protoss, whose bank is not even comparable to his.
Yeah. He is so committed to the Spire Tech. You haven't really seen too much other than Corruptors out of the Spire Tech, just upgrades, but still the Spires have been killed off, and JaeDong has built like 5 of them at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
Hero's kind of in this super annoying position where he can siege this base essentially for free because the Locusts have to go around this edge, and JaeDong cannot attack into him, and Hero's got really nice feedbacks on all those infestors.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Roaches are swinging out here where Hero was trying to expand, keeping his opponent down to this 4 base count. He's not managed to kill off the 4th base, but he has contained his opponent to the 4 bases and is basically hoping that he can mine his opponent out in a war of attrition. Of course, Hero does have 43 more drones than JaeDong, but that almost seems like a liability as opposed to a good thing at this stage in the game, as that's 40 supply more that JaeDong has in his army.
Yeah, not only that, but also those probes aren't doing anything for Hero right now. He's only mining on 1 base essentially. It's not even a full base. They'd be way better off either in army supply or just mining at a different base, which Hero hasn't been doing either.
Right. Well, we do have Aspire completing 8 Corruptors on the way. We've got +2 armor for flying units as well. JaeDong looks like he may be able to secure a victory here. This war of attrition really playing to his advantage. Now, we do have Zealots being warped in. No more Dark Templars. That shrine was killed off, but we've got the majority of Heroes forces swinging in here to deal with these roaches that may allow these Swarm hosts to get a pretty good attack off if he can knock down the rest of this Protoss stuff at the third.
Yeah, those roaches just heroes all game, just denying bases, killing off static D, forcing warp-ins, and killing off probes. They have completely killed that fourth base completely the entire game and have made it extremely difficult for Hero to mine there.
Mm-hmm. Well, huge Void Ray Colossi composition. Now, it is very powerful. It is what's known as the Death Ball. The problem is it is so slow, and JaeDong continuing to take advantage of that fact and get these speed roaches that have 3-2 upgrades.
Yeah, like even maneuvers like these allow JaeDong to get off those extra 3 infestors or get into position to deal with an attack. Like without that run by, Hero would probably be attacking him, would have attacked him already, and he wouldn't have been in position. But because of these kinds of run bys, he's able to be in such a good position, be wherever he needs to be, and have whatever he needs.
What I find interesting here is that JaeDong has taken one of Hero's bases. So now in this war of attrition, JaeDong is not only gaining resources, he is denying them from his opponent.
Yeah, definitely. He's I see no reason why he couldn't have done that on the other side as well. Maybe because Heroes had such good control over that, but he's been able to deny this base with a Burrowed Roach, and Hero's just able to try and get that down. So Hero's really starving for resources at this point.
Now, in the late game on this map, does it bisect the map, like right down the middle, or is it more of like a diagonal in the late game scenario?
It typically looks exactly like this if it ends up getting to this point, because one person will, like, the Zerg will need to expand up the top or down the bottom, and like they won't care about the other side because that they don't need it in order to mine and use for units. So
okay. Well, we've still got more and more roaches being produced here by JaeDong. He is managing to hold his defenses as long as he can draw a stalemate with the swarm hosts and infestor composition, as well as the static defense that he's finally got up. And he's continuing these harassments with the roaches. He is in a winning position.
Yes, he's definitely in a very solid position at this point. What JaeDong's itching to do right now is actually get into an actual engagement, because he may not exactly win it straight up, but he'll be able to wear his opponent down so much that it just won't matter. Like, he'll be able to remax. Yeah, and he'll be able to crush whatever Hero has left.
Right, and the thing is, he has to make sure the engagement happens at a point where his rematch will be on the field before the Protoss gets into one of the bases.
Yeah, exactly. I actually had a situation like that happen to me on ladder the other day. I was ahead 7 bases to 4, and I remaxed after killing half of his army, but going in single file, and I lose the game despite being so far ahead the entire game. It's not a great feeling.
Nice abducts on those Void Rays, though. That's that chipping damage we're talking about. The Infestors hitting some good fungals, but taking some shots from the Archons. Archons, of course, getting held down and then killed off by the Swarm Host. Swarm Host almost taking out another Archon. There's the Fungal Growth, going to kill that one. Good fungals on these Void Rays. Void Rays very vulnerable to the fungal, and we've even got some abduct on these Colossi. Colossi not going to be as effective against the Swarm Hosts if there are fewer of them, and the Void Rays getting killed off here as well. LiquidHerO has lost the main backbone of his tech, and JaeDong, of course, just going to be able to resupply, just as we've discussed time and time again in this map.
Yeah, exactly. Not only did JaeDong take out the majority of Hero's big units like the Colossus and the Void Rays, but he actually got really nice chain fungals and killed about 4 or 5 High Templar. And with those 4 or 5 High Templar down, that's a lot less energy for things like feedbacks and storms, and it allows his, what number does he have? A lot of infestors to roam free. 4. And
yeah, he's got 4 infestors and 13 Swarm Hosts.
He had more infestors, I swear.
Yeah, he had like 9 at one point, but he lost a lot of them to the Colossi and Archons.
But yeah, that once again, that was to kill the High Templar
And
which
totally
he can't
worth
afford,
it.
and Hero cannot based on that.
Yep. Trade's always going to benefit JaeDong
So
in this situation.
yeah, exactly, and JaeDong's actually continuing to pick Hero apart with these Roach counterattacks while sieging this last mining base of Heroes. Because if this Hero cannot leave this base, because if it falls, then he'll lose just by mining. And if nice fungals.
Very nice fumble. That's going to take out most of the probe count. He is down to 13 probes, and they are all at that one base. One more fungal could actually end the game for in JaeDong's favor.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing at this point is JaeDong doesn't have the money for it, but he has nothing to deal with mutas. He has 3 High Templar and a few Stalkers, but other than that, Tempests aren't good against mutas, and Mothership most certainly isn't.
Exactly.
So,
well, we've still got the Infestors coming out. JaeDong has depleted his entire gas count, so Muta's not really too viable of an option at this point. But he's still got a lot of minerals. He's got Ling upgrades. He's even got adrenal glands. So he's not out of this by any means.
yeah, it looks like at this point, Hero's trying the best he can to deny JaeDong's mining and hopefully end it in a stalemate because... Or try and get an amazing engagement, like one that with those corruptors. But as long as JaeDong plays well, he should come out on top here.
I could not agree more, man. And looks like this is the final death throes of this game. You think there'll be one more big engagement, or is it all going to be a harassment game from here?
There should be one more big engagement where Hero just tries to go all out and make one final push, but I don't know if he'll have the guts to do it, because I most certainly wouldn't.
Well, these counterattacks taking out most of the tech in Hero's base, so he's got to make something happen shortly.
Yeah, he's definitely on a timer right now with no more mining, and this is his final battle. If he allows JaeDong to have mine for at least a little bit more, he will have absolutely zero chance.
And he has no form of detection here, so the roaches are...
Oh yeah, nice burrow on the roaches. He doesn't have any observers. He can't even afford to build them supply-wise.
Yeah, or a photon cannon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't think he even has any probes to build a photon cannon. Yep, 0 probes on the field.
Oh yeah, this is the end of our hero here.
Yeah, it looks like JaeDong's just gonna slowly wear him down, and as Hero slowly runs out of options.
Yeah, and Swarm hosts, they're so slow, they're so annoying, they make games last 50 minutes, but they do win convincing.
Yeah, as long as you have the control to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's the final battle. Hero just gets crushed by the Corruptors and Locusts and Fungals. Well
done. Very well done. That was a majorly intense game, but just to review it, it all began with a 3-hatch before pull from JaeDong. He did lack some static defense, so LiquidHerO was able to get quite a few harassment opportunities out of him. JaeDong went a little bit behind economically speaking, but once he got the 18 swarm hosts out, he was just able to reposition himself wherever he needed to be with amazing creep spread, and LiquidHerO ultimately lost a war of attrition. Was there anything you would add to that, Tyrannus?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of that Hero could have done better was take his 5th base quickly, because he did not go past like 2 base mining except for a little bit of time in the mid game when he had that 3rd base, not even early, but kind of at a decent time. So if he would have had continuous 3 base mining throughout the game like JaeDong did, he would have definitely been able to keep up harassment wise and perhaps even win.
Awesome, dude. Well, that basically wraps up game number 4. We'll be moving on to game number 5, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Shaft of the Clinic Casting Crew. You can follow me on Twitter at the only Shaft. Tyrannus, I believe your Twitch is Tyrannus64 or 94?
96 actually.
Wow. Yeah, I'm terrible at that. Hey, that's the year you were born, right?
Yes.
Okay, I should be able to remember that now. Okay. And then, guys, you can follow our streamer Observer, who did such an amazing job tonight. Drew Universe, representing Team PMS H2O. Check them out, pmsplan.com, as well as twitch.tv/Drew Universe. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel if you like this content. Check out further videos from us. Other than that, guys, bye-bye. Hi guys, I'm Shaft of the Clinic Casting crew. This is IEM8 Cologne. We are in game number 5 of a best of 5, so it is game point for both players in this Zerg vs Protoss on Yonsu. My co-caster tonight is none other than ZLC's Tyrannus, and our observer streamer tonight is PMS's very own Drew Universe. In the top right-hand corner, we have in the red Zerg trunks, Evil Geniuses, Tyrant JaeDong. And here in the bottom left-hand side of the map, representing Team Liquid, and going for a Gateway First Expand, it looks like, it's the Blue Protoss Hero! So Carson, Yonsu, really small, really tight map. Are we seeing a Gateway attack, or what would you do in this situation?
Well, the biggest strategy that people have trouble with, especially on ladder that I've talked to, are just Sentry Immortal Olins on this map, or any sort of attack that is heavy Sentry, because of chokes like the one right outside of, or the ones above the third near the watchtowers. It's just so hard to be able to break positions like that when you can't get your army through it.
Gotcha. Well, there is the Cyber Core. This is a really interesting map. Even with it being a Gateway First build and JaeDong scouting it, he is going for 3 hatches very, very quickly. This is not what you normally see against a Gateway Expand.
No, it's not. Usually what you see against a Gate Expand is like what JaeDong did on Habitation Station, where it was 15 hatch, 16 gas, 15 pool, get the Zergling speed. But it looks like he's being extremely greedy this time, getting the gas before the pool. So he must really know Hero's playstyle in order to take such a big risk.
Yeah, well, Hero, not really one known to like do proxy 2-gate or anything like that, and really not someone to try to harass with 4 gates. He really likes his Stargate tech. He really likes transitioning into Colossi after that. So unless he does Blink Stalker timing, that's really all you see out of Hero.
Yeah, last game when he saw this, he did do a 4-gate pressure, but JaeDong held it off really well, so he may not be thinking of doing the same thing. He might think, oh, okay, it's my chance to tech really hard and try and punish him later, or hit a chase timing as fast as possible.
Well, I still kind of expect him to try to play the map, though, because that is something Hero's known for. He has different builds for different maps, and just curious to see what he's going to throw at us now. JaeDong, of course, working on some extra lings. He's getting a little bit of a later speed, so he's got to get the lings out to make sure that there is no proxy pylons that could ultimately end this. Because Hero could break away from his typical style and still throw some kind of early aggression at him that JaeDong might not be ready for. So these lings going to help him.
Yeah, right now... Oh, sorry. I was going to say right now it actually looks like the Hero's actually going for the same type of 4-gate pressure with the 3 gateways coming up right now. So with the pylon going down.
Yeah, the Mothership Core taking some shots from the Queen, but doing a little harassment. Did he get any worker kills there? It looks like he did get 1 worker kill. And he's forced 14 more lings, so even if this attack does nothing, just forcing the lings instead of drones has already put Hero 5 workers ahead.
Yes, definitely. JaeDong should be surpassing Hero, or in the middle of surpassing Hero at this point in the game, drone-wise, but instead he is actually quite far behind, only 1, but that's a lot for this stage of the game.
Right, and the Sentry actually gonna fall. Yes, it does fall to the lings. Ling speed definitely coming in, but another Sentry managing to force field that ramp and not letting the lings in.
Yeah, the problem this time that I really see for JaeDong is that he doesn't actually have a Roach Ward like he did last game, or any spines. So these Zealots are actually gonna start doing work against his Speedling numbers.
Yeah, and again, those Speedlings are so larva intensive. He has got to stop this attack, and he's got to stop it quick. He's got a good surround on these Zealots, but there are reinforcements coming in as well, and the reinforcements should clean up the rest of these Lings.
Yeah, JaeDong had a really nice engagement there, sectioning off those 4 Zealots before the extra 4 warped in, giving him a better chance. But if he wants to have any more chances in this game, he needs to take out that pylon before more Zealots come in.
Yeah, and he's just having a hard time doing that at this point. The Zealots keep coming in, and every time that forces him to unfocus the pylon and focus more on the Zealots. But it looks like this final engagement is going to take care of that.
Yeah, the big problem there for JaeDong was, as you said before, that Lings are super duper larva intensive. So instead of being his normal 50 drones, 60 drones at this point in the game like he normally is, he's only
half that,
at like 30.
Yeah. Well, we've still got another pylon here, forcing more warp-ins. Mothership Core has to be careful to stay out of range of that Queen. That Queen making a huge difference in these engagements, and ultimately going to knock down the second pylon as well. Hero does have a Robo. He is working on Immortals. So is he going for the Zealot Immortal again, or is this going to be a different build?
It's looking like, since he did take all 3 gases, it's looking like it'll actually be sort of a weird version of Sentry Immortal, but sort of a Zealot heavy is my guess. It does look like he is actually going for an Immortal attack with 2 queued up right now. He doesn't look like he has any intentions of taking a 3rd, so. And as you said before, with playing to the map, it would lead me to believe that he's going Sentry Immortal.
Okay. Well, we will find out. Now, JaeDong is being careful to knock these rocks down. This will make his reinforcements arrive a lot quicker in the case of any further pressure from the Protoss.
Yeah, definitely, especially if the Protoss decides to engage above his 3rd.
That's a really common attack point. Now, we were talking about the bottom left being a huge attack zone, but I feel like with the Protoss being in the bottom left here, it's mostly just going to be that left-hand flank, especially going into the 3rd of JaeDong.
Yeah, JaeDong is actually in any position to attack Hero, especially since he has only got a few 15 Lings and a few Roaches that don't even have speed yet. And with Hero going for this kind of attack, it'd be suicide.
Yeah. Well, he does have a small counterattack squad. Do you think this is going to be mostly to buy himself time, or is he trying to do damage here?
A little of both. I think he's really desperate at this point, seeing the push coming and being so far behind with such small units compared to what Hero has after taking so much damage early on.
Gotcha. Well, here goes the main attack. Hero moving off top of this ramp right above the 3rd, as we predicted. Several pylons going down as well. He's also got a Warp Prism. It's the Immortal Sentry that we were fearing. Does JaeDong have enough to hold this, Carson?
It doesn't actually look like it unless he gets some sort of amazing surround, which is what he's looking to do with these little 2 attack squads. But the force fields in this kind of position are just so good. Like, he needs to focus those Immortals if he has any chance.
Well, he is focusing on the Immortals with a small squad in the back, but he's not attacking from the front with anything but other than the Lings. He has missed his timing on his little flank here. This, again, not looking good for our Evil Geniuses player. But he's got a lot of Roaches here. He is moving up the ramp. There's the force fields you were talking about. Mothership Core falling to some Queens. There it goes. It pops. And that could actually be terrible for our Protoss. The Time Warp is really the backbone of this composition. Warp Prism still staying alive, though, and that is going to allow for more warp-ins. He is being careful to pick up the Immortals as they are being focused, and there goes 5 Zealots and 2 Sentries warping in. JaeDong staying on top of his injects. Those are so clutch in the situation. Hero actually banking a little bit on the mineral count. He could actually afford a couple more gateways. Now we've got Roachling swinging in here trying to either surround this. No, he's going for a counterattack. So while all this is happening, he is going to put a clock on LiquidHerO.
Yeah, the great part about that engagement right there for LiquidHerO was that he was able to keep both of those Immortals alive, and while still killing groups of Roaches for basically free with those nice force fields, and the fact that he caught onto the little flank that JaeDong was trying to put on Hero there.
Well, he is burrowing these spine crawlers a little bit too forward, though. They are taking some shots, but the Roach is buying some time for them as well. One spine crawler too far back, the other one not quite burrowed in time. He is not... Oh, there we go. He's getting one of the sentries. Oh, let's focus it. There we go. He's got the sentry, but he does not have that many units here. Currently, the units count is 21 Lynx, 13 Roaches, compared to 6 sentries, 10 Stalkers, 2 Immortals. Units lost tab, Shift L, 155 Lynx have been lost, 42 Roaches.
Yeah, the amazing part about this game to me is look at how Hero keeps his Immortals alive. Like, are in the front whatsoever. He picks them up with the Warp Prism, drops them in the back. That's the reason why this is working right now, is because of his impeccable micro.
Yeah. Well, we've still got a pretty nice defense here for JaeDong. It looks like he may have fended off this pressure, but he's taken a huge amount of damage in doing so.
Yeah, he if he can hold this off, he'll be in a pretty good position, being on 52 drones, having his third base up, and Hero not macroing behind this whatsoever. But Hero still got all of his Immortals alive, but JaeDong did take out all of the gateway units, making those Immortals completely naked.
The problem with Gosu Micro is it usually results in a lack of macro, and we are definitely seeing this in Hero. He did commit to this all in, so his minerals are a lot higher than his gas. He never did follow up with an extra gas, and he's trying to make this attack work, but what's his transition from here?
There is really no transition plan. He was going all in with that attack, and he needed it to work. But JaeDong had like one of the best defenses I've ever seen, especially having the first part of that attack not go that great for him.
Mm-hmm.
So Hero at this point needs to hope that he can hold on and transition into some other form of all in, because JaeDong's knocking on his door right now.
Mm-hmm. And we do have a Hydra Den halfway done as well. That's going to make pressure like this even more effective. Now we do have a gateway falling here, so it looks like these roaches can get some of these money units if they so choose, but 5 zealots being warped in. It's allowing Hero to spend some of this extra mineral bank that he has. Now the roach is being pulled back, but some good force fields going to force the engagement to happen. These roaches trying to swing over here to get the Immortal. Looks like they may do it. The Immortal trying to kite backwards. Another Immortal popping. He is going to force these roaches into the mineral line, using that first attack squad basically as a distraction. He is now going to be able to assault this mineral line, but he is not microing as well as he could, instead choosing to go for the sentries. He lost his positioning advantage. He could have hit some of those probes.
Yeah, he definitely could have. He did end up killing an Immortal and 2 sentries with that attack, but I would not say that a counterattack was worth it, especially because now Hero, he's not safe, but he feels safer having dealt with the rest of Hero's roach, or with the rest of JaeDong's roaches that could be used to defend the upcoming all-in that has to be following up.
I'm kind of impressed at how even the units loss tab is. It's 14,400 loss for JaeDong, 13,762 for Hero. And that is a lot closer than you would expect based on what we've seen with JaeDong losing as many units as he has.
Yeah, what was really nice was the fact that JaeDong was able to get on top of his units when Hero pushed into his natural. That kind of evened it up from like the difference that it was before. But what's really amazing about this attack is that Hero doesn't actually have any upgrades, and neither does JaeDong. So I didn't actually notice that before. I typically when his Sentry Immortals hit, they hit with +1, but since he did it out of a 4-gate pressure, there were no upgrades.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. Now we do have a Ling counterattack squad. This Zealot not going to be able to defend that, as if he moves out of position, these Lings can swing around. And JaeDong trying to make something like that happen, but he's going to lose these Lings when they almost killed the Forge. His Micro getting a little sloppy, but there's an engagement here at the third, between the third and the natural, and these Hydras a lot of the Hydras have fallen here, and this is a huge attack by Hero. JaeDong losing a lot of units, and he's going to be dependent on these reinforcements and some of these building spine crawlers.
Yeah, this is starting to get really scary for JaeDong here. He got caught off creep with his Hydras, half of his Hydras being in front of the force fields, and there's 5 Immortals here from Hero, so that's a lot of damage. With half of his roaches not even being able to attack because of the force fields, I think the tables have turned again.
Yeah, it's like an onion when you're dealing with force fields. You just peel one layer of the army, peel another layer, peel a third layer, and ultimately whittle it down to nothing. Zerg really needs those overwhelming
actually shelling at this. Yeah, exactly. The Hero's actually shelling away at this third now, and JaeDong can do nothing about it while these sentries sit here and gain more mana, and they'll be ready for another round of force fields soon.
Mana? What is this, Warcraft 3?
I'm sorry, I've been playing a lot more Dota and League of Legends and lately. I've started to get into those. I still don't like them that much, but
gotcha. Well,
they're okay.
We've got Hero taking this Zanaga Tower temporarily, trying to reposition himself for an attack into the natural. Spinecrawler's in a great position, one being forced to burrow again. The good counterattacks hitting from all angles. He's got a complete circle around Hero's units. If he is going to be able to make something happen, it's with an attack like this.
And Hero's probe pull here. Probably a little bit of showboating. He knows that he's won this, He knows that JaeDong has no other options and that he's on his last foot.
Yeah. Hero, a very emotional player. When things go bad for him, they go very bad. When things go well for him, he loves to gloat about it.
Yeah, I don't see JaeDong being able to hold this off with the last warping and push up the natural. He's still got that spine, he's still got 7 Hydras, but he's got so many Stalkers, and he's still got 3 Immortals.
You know, there's a big rivalry here we haven't discussed as well. Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid.
Yeah, these guys were actually teammates a lot when they were doing Pro League, so I'm sure they practiced a lot together, so probably a little beef between them, friendly.
Yeah, friendly beef. Yeah. It's like Team Liquid's the good guys, Evil Geniuses, of course, the bad guys. Well, Hero just cleaning up JaeDong's forces. JaeDong knows this is IEM best of 5. It's game number 4, or game number 5, I'm sorry. So if he forfeits this, it's over for him. But he's holding on, just barely, but holding.
Yeah, even with that probe pull, Hero's still got 1 base saturation, which is as much as he needs. So it's still not over even after this attack.
Yeah, and the thing is, there are 16 more drones than probes.
Oh, there are, yeah.
Yeah,
but
so
JaeDong also doesn't have a 3rd.
Right.
And half of his drones are actually over here not mining. They could be helping in this battle.
It's a little bit rough for him here. Roaches and Hydras getting peeled away again by these force fields, but he's doing a good job just keeping the units out of range when the force fields do occur and baiting out some of the energy from the sentries. And here we go, big drone pull. Good force field's gonna force these drones through narrow passages, harder to get a concave, and some good kiting here by Hero. He is known for his kiting, and these drones getting sacrificed. He is now 6 drones down. Oh my god, this is it. JaeDong just got a nail in his coffin.
Yeah, JaeDong, like that one engagement where he took it right outside of his 3rd off creep with the Hydras. No Hydra speed, no Hydra range. It completely lost him the game.
Yeah, and he was in a winning position from before that, but not any longer. He's about to lose his only seriously mining base. He is down to 16 workers, and they are on the 3rd, not at his natural or his main. Ouch.
Yeah, the closeness of this game, I've never seen a Century Immortal game last so long with, like, just because both players had such great micro and...
26-minute Immortal Century all in.
Yeah, the standard.
Yeah, completely, man. Well, Roachborn is going to be a victim of Hero's showboating, and JaeDong, it's time to tap out, buddy.
Yeah, here JaeDong probably really disappointed right now, knowing that he's probably rethinking all of the things that he could have done better that game.
Yeah, sometimes players get so caught up in their head they forget to GG and leave. Actually, I remember one time at MLG Raleigh, he was on Team Dust at the time, but Gravity's Beast was playing against another Terran, and they were like sitting across from each other on the keyboard. Like, you know, one computer was here, one was here, they were facing each other, but Beast didn't notice it. But the last 3 minutes of the game, the guy had completely stopped microing and macroing, and had just put his head down on the keyboard and started crying. For 3 minutes, without leaving, without GGing. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was rough. And Beast was sitting there splitting. Like, if you know anything about Beast, he has amazing Marine splits, or at least he did back then. And he was sitting there splitting his units up against all these Hellions. His opponent was going mech against Hellions and tanks and just microing the hell out of it. And his opponent literally was just face down on the keyboard crying.
Oh, wow. That's rough. Yeah. That reminds me of when Deer versus JaeDong. I forgot what tournament it was exactly, but JaeDong was able to hold Deer's 7-gate, I think it was, on what's that, Akalon Wastes, and with the Burrow Roaches, and Deer like puts his head into his hands, just like so devastated.
Yeah.
It can get really
emotional,
really crazy.
Yeah. Well, guys, this was IEM8 Cologne rebroadcast. I'm Shaft of the Funny Casting Crew. If you like this and want to check out other videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Link will be in the underneath this video. You can also follow me on Twitter at @TheOnlyShaft. Please check out True Universe's clan, pmsclan.com. You can also check Tyrannus out at his twitch.tv. That is Tyrannus96. at Twitch. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.